It's 7:40. Let's do this. Good evening, Hampton Roads. Good evening, Northeast North Carolina. My name is David Aldrich, Chief Meteorologist at WTKR News 3 Television, and you are watching First Warning Live, where we focus on all things weather. And because we get hungry from time to time, we're sponsored by Marco's Pizza, who, by the way, generously enough, will be giving away free pizza during this live stream, a total of about 22 pizzas, because one individual will get one per month for a year. That's 12 pizzas. And then we're going to give out 10 individual pizzas to individuals who may never have ever tried Marco's. And that's even cool, too, because I think they're thrilled just to have people sample their product. But I want to get to the big story tonight, and we'll do the pizza at the top of the hour at 8 o'clock. It's now 7:41. Sun to clouds Friday. We're going to get a bright start, then we're going to cloud up, and then there'll be some flakes and drops late, followed by the single-digit wind chill weekend. Now, I mentioned yesterday the big story was not the snow. Yesterday was a nothing burger, as I called it. A nothing. Nothing happened. I mean, some of you had some sleet, some of you had some cold rain, but you didn't have anything left over, and that was my gut. That's what told me. Experience said that, and we're going to talk about that more in a moment. But I do want to mention what's going to be the big story if you are going to be doing anything outside. Now, some of you are like, you see the polar plunge, and I've lost you already. I know that not everybody's going to jump in the water, but it is for a good cause. It is the biggest fundraiser for Special Olympics and the athletes. Temperatures at that time, at 1 in the afternoon, this is not a 7 a.m. deal. This is 23 to 26 during the afternoon, which is amazingly cold for this time of year. And with the winds, winds are going to be the bigger story. I think, as I mentioned yesterday, they would be sustained out of the northwest, 20 to 35. I still believe that to be the case. I believe the gusts now have indications of even going higher than the 40 to 45 I said. I think there's indications it could go 50, 55, and maybe an isolated 60-mile-an-hour gust along the coast. Now, it may not happen precisely at Virginia Beach, but even still, regardless of the variance in the gust, you're still dealing with wind chills in the single digits. So it's so important to make sure that, yeah, okay, I agree to jump in the water, some might say, but did you know it was going to be that cold? 5 to 10. If you need more evidence, we're going to take a look at that, because even at 11 o'clock tomorrow night, and if you're new to our live stream, welcome, welcome, welcome. Everybody's welcome here. I just want to show you in the upper right corner, it's the timestamp. And again, this is just future tense, right? We're assuming that we're going to be in the neighborhood of 27 on the south side tomorrow night, which is probably pretty close to how cold it is right now if you're watching me live here on a Thursday evening. May feel like it's 30 in the Outer Banks, 11 o'clock on a Friday. But once we go towards sunrise, and shortly thereafter, on Saturday morning, you're suddenly noticing a big change in the air mass. The winds have picked up, the eastern shore feels like it's close to 1. And you're like, wait a minute, but the Albemarle, feels like 20. Yeah, but give it a couple hours, because all of a sudden the Albemarle feels like 5, and the eastern shore feels like -3. Now, I know what some of you say, well, that's just model data, it's not precise, but even if it's within a few degrees, isn't that worth knowing? I'm sharing this with you because this is my concern. At noontime, it feels like 5, but you said 5 to 10. Yeah, go another hour, it's 9. This was a forecast I put out yesterday, and the data still screams it's going to be cold. So whether you are going to be watching a loved one jump in the water, or maybe you're just running and doing some grocery errands before the big Super Bowl on Sunday, whatever you're doing, pumping gas at 1 o'clock on a Saturday with the sun shining brightly, you're going to go, man, is it cold. It's like, welcome to the Arctic, because it's coming to town, and it's coming in fast this weekend. By the time we hit 7 o'clock Saturday evening, it's down to 4. But if you think it's going to be a picnic Sunday morning, think again. I'm thinking about all those who might be headed to church services at 7 a.m. on a Sunday with a sunny sky. You're like, I didn't know it was going to be -5. Yeah, could be like -3 from the Albemarle, south side. Inland Virginia, probably -2, -2 Outer Banks. This is like the real deal, right? We talked about the connection, and I will go back to this in a little bit, but just looking at the upper air charts for 10, 11 miles up, the sudden stratospheric warming event, how these have implications when you get a cold, like warm air rises, cold air sinks. And this, that not only does this sink into our region, but it may stink, right? Because it's terrible timing. It's like, I got plans. But at least we don't have to worry about the sky condition, right? It's deceiving sunshine. You look through the window, it looks good, and then you walk out the door without the jacket, and then you think twice because you got to come back and find it. I got a note here I believe I have a note here. Let me see if I can go forward. Let me finish the weekend. So by noontime, I know the Super Bowl's on a lot of people's minds too. 4 is what it feels like at noon on Sunday. And then by the time we get to 5 o'clock Sunday, when everyone's glued to the TV, 16. It might feel a little bit better by the end of the weekend itself. But the wind gusts, oh yeah, they're not bad tomorrow. Even tomorrow night, it's just 5. What's 5 miles an hour among friends? But then it's 50 along the eastern shore. And I know some of you are like, I'm asleep at 4 a.m., but give it time. There's 48, there's 40, 39. Again, this is just model data. There's the 1 o'clock time frame. I'm seeing data that would suggest 40 to 55 with maybe an isolated 60. It wouldn't surprise me, but even still, there's going to be very nasty winds, and that's going to drive the temperature, or feels like perception, way, way down. Sunday is still gusty, probably 30 to 35 at the top speeds, but Saturday is windier than Sunday. But Sunday's colder, so it's a trade-off. We start Sunday morning around 14. That's part of the situation. Lows today, 31. We hit that mark at 8:31 this morning, below freezing, and we hit the expected high in Norfolk of 35. Did that at 10:56 this morning. I got a couple of notes I want to share with you. This is a good time to say hi to anyone who might be watching. Some of the comments I don't get to read until hours later. This was 23 hours ago. Rodney writes, hey, thank you for keeping it real. Rodney, that's what I'm here to do, because I am here to earn your trust and all the trust of our neighbors that when weather happens, especially winter, but any winter, winter weather, that you'll come check in with us, right? So to keep it real, I thought about this other comment. I'm like, should I air this or should I not? So I figure transparency and vulnerability can be a strength. So I'm going to keep this real. I'm going to put Paul's comment on here. And it's not bad. It's just that some might, in my position, decide not to air it. But I'm going to air it. He said, Paul says, WTKR News 3, you literally had a trace to 1-inch forecast for yesterday. I'll take that. I'll fall on that sword. I did not air a trace to 1-inch forecast on TV. I did not air a trace to 1-inch forecast on the live stream, but it did get out on our platforms. And I'll take responsibility for that. Now, Paul, I don't know if you've ever been like a principal of a school, a teacher of a classroom, a manager of a work team, a workforce, or maybe a leader or manager of a sales team. You have differences in opinions, right? Just like if you take, and I've said this before, if you take 10 meteorologists, put them in the same room with a case study, which we do from time to time, and have them draw in the fronts, the positive vorticity advection, what do you forecast the high to be, what do you expect dew points to be, yada, 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 right? You get 10 meteorologists looking at the same case study, you're going to get 10 different answers, right? So, I mean, nothing could be more apparent than that, than when the Weather Service put this out, right? They were saying 1 to 2 inches for Norfolk. But when you have a chief that says, hey, maybe this is nothing burger, maybe a trace to 1 inch was maybe the happy medium. But I can assure you this, and I won't go any further than this, we'll be more consistent in the future. Does that help? Paul, I would just say that, experience helps. The more you do it, it's like doing, reps in the gym, or if you're a baseball player, you go into the batting cage and just keep hitting baseballs till you get better at it. That's all. But you're right. There are times where there can be differences of opinion, but I will take responsibility for that, and we will, like I said, next time, do I think this event that's coming up is a problem? No. When the temperature, have you ever noticed when it snows at 36 degrees during the day? It could snow for hours. It's like snow, 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 snow. It's 36 degrees, snow, snow. People are like, yeah, but it's not sticking. That's this Friday night. 24 hours from now, we're going to get some snow showers in some of our neighborhoods, but it's not going to stick. So accumulation isn't even in my vocabulary. Is it a zero accumulation? It just doesn't stick. Something magical happens in science that when a snowflake at 36 degrees, it's going to melt as soon as it hits contact. So don't buy the hype. I definitely think you don't want to buy the hype, but I will show you the snow models. Everybody loves the snow models. I'll show you what the models say, but I'm going to come right back to the full circle and say it's a nothing burger. Friday night snow is about a little clipper system, just like what we had last night. So if you weren't impressed with last night, you're not going to be impressed with the snow that we get in spots tomorrow night, because some of it could mix in with rain, especially in North Carolina. We have right now at 7:50, 31 in Chesapeake, 31 in Virginia Beach. If you got a comment, let me know. I want to say hi to you, and plus, very excited it's Thursday. It's one of my favorite days of the week. We get to give away free pizza. It's not like I'm making the pizza, right? But I do like to give it away. 35 is our current temperature in Nags Head, as well as about 33 in Windsor, Bertie County, and the cold spot looks like it's Emporia right now at 27. Those wind chills have dropped to 22. Now think about that. If you've been outside in the last hour, maybe the last 2 hours, it feels like 22. What happens when it feels like 9 or 5? That's cold, right? This is cold, but it's going to be even colder still once we move into Saturday and Sunday. So it's just a mindset, right? I'm not discouraging anybody from going to the polar plunge. I'll be there. I'll be in the heated tent rooting Kurt Williams on. If you've watched our newscast, I don't know where you're watching me right now. Maybe you're watching me from Tennessee. Maybe you're watching from another state. But if you are going to be at the polar plunge, come up and say hi to me. I would love to say hi to you. We are a sponsor. It is one of the biggest fundraisers for the Special Olympics that they do, polar plunge. Hundreds, if not thousands of people show up, to my understanding, because this will be my first, and I'm excited about that all the same. Let me check in with some new comments. I got one from Lynn Old. He just put this on the old one. He says, good evening. Lynn, glad to have you. Lynn actually won the pizza for a year a couple weeks ago. And I didn't even mention to you, there is a deal of the week. How could I forget? The medium pizza, $10.99, shows Hot Honey Magnifico. Now that's just one of their many varieties. You might want a deluxe pizza. Maybe you want a pepperoni and sausage pizza. Marco's isn't picky. They said, hey, if you use the promo code, and you've been watching me go on and on about the weather, go ahead and use that promo code. You don't have to clip a coupon, WTKR, that's our call letters, and Sunny, and you will actually get a discount on the pizza. You'll save a lot of money. $10.99 is priced usually much higher. And there are 6 locations that are participating in the $10.99 medium pizza. Any pizza that you can imagine, they will honor for $10.99. You can put all the works on it. So put everything on it. Maybe you want pineapple, I don't know. But WTKR.com/Marcos is how you sign up to win. I mentioned I will be announcing those winners here in about 8 minutes. But I would encourage you to sign up. If you don't win tonight, you could win next week. We'll do it again next week. So just a reminder, this is what the pizza for a year certificate looks like. And because we're in February, it will act like a punch card. Your name might be on that ticket for tonight. I've got the winner in my computer now. But you'll get one for each month of the year right into January of next year. One large, one topping. That's Marco's generosity on display. Love it. Thank you, Marco's. Pizzoli, Magnifico. You're hungry? Maybe a Thursday or Friday night or a Saturday night. You can definitely check out the deal of the week, WTKR Sunny. And of course, there's the Philly, there's the white cheesy, the chicken fresco. I'm a big fan of the works. If you want pepperoni, ham, green peppers, Italian sausage, mushrooms, bacon, onions, you get all that on one pizza for $10.99. To me, that's a steal. So check it out. You're hard-pressed to find anything less than that in other places. Like I said, I don't want to disparage any other pizza place, but I'm a big fan of Marco's for good reason. All right, so wind chill, 23 in Norfolk right now. Feels like 24 in Currituck, 26 in Kitty Hawk. These are the cameras. It looks like the snow, looks like it's gone in Moyock, but it did snow in parts of North Carolina, I do know, over the weekend, this past weekend. That will not be the issue, at least much, heading forward. Let me show you the satellite radar. We've been seeing appears to be some interior sections of Dare County, mainland Dare County. Appears to have had some snowflakes, maybe some flurries, but they've been in the mid-30s, so I seriously doubt anything has stuck. It looks like it's been raining in Roanoke Island. Wanchese might have had some rain showers, but the bigger story as this low pulls away is what you're going to find in Ohio. Look at Ohio, look at Indiana and Kentucky. That's the next impulse that's going to drop a few flakes. And when I say drop, how about, this is, I think, one of the most misunderstood ideas about snow. Just like you can't assume every rain shower is a downpour, sometimes it's just drizzle. And just because it snows doesn't mean it's automatically going to accumulate. As I illustrated in the analogy that if you've seen it snow during the day for hours and hours, we might get 2 or 3 hours of snow between tomorrow night and into the wee hours of Saturday morning in spots. But I think the temperatures are too high and too elevated. It's just going to fall apart. That's all I've got to say about that. And then we look up to the north, you can see that snow near Detroit. It's also moving through parts of Ohio. But the real deal is up here. Let me come back on camera because this front here is really the first front. The second one is up here. This is Canada. You're like, oh, Canada, cold and windy. This has got our weekend written all over it, right? It's going to force. And see the snow that's out ahead of this? This might be what we get in the pre-dawn hours of Saturday morning. Do I expect everyone's going to get it? No. Do I expect accumulation? No. How do you like that for confidence? So that's what I'm saying. The cold and windy air will be here for the weekend. And here's what the graph model suggests, right? I told you whenever you get a model like this that shows 0.1, the translation, flurries. 0.2 though, that means we get flurries times 2. Don't bank on it. Temperature, it's not going to amount to a hill of beans. Do you understand what I'm saying? And I can illustrate that with this graph model, because look how the clouds fall apart, right? By 11 o'clock tonight, the clouds will be decreasing. If you look closely at 7 a.m., we've got lots of sunshine. And I wanted to do this early before we get to the pizza, but it's a beautiful sunny start to your Friday. Winds are under 10. They're 5 to 10 tomorrow. So you've got a beautiful day on Friday morning, but then it's going to cloud back up, right? By midday, we got some hazy sun and maybe Elizabeth City, but it definitely looks cloudy in Williamsburg at noontime tomorrow. But what happens at 4, David? That's what I hear is, bro, oh, no, look, how do you explain that? The same way I just explained it before. Just because snow falls doesn't mean it accumulates, right? Just because rain falls doesn't mean there's a puddle 10 minutes later. It could have just gone right into the grass. You know what I'm saying? All right, watch this. You're not going to believe me, so I'll just show it to you, right? Watch the snow go poof. I see some snow in Williamsburg. I sure do at 6. What happens thereafter? Poof, it's gone. Oh man, what's happening is you've got some downsloping winds from the mountains. As I said yesterday, if you weren't impressed with yesterday's snow, you're not going to be impressed with what we get tomorrow night. Are we all clear on that? Can we all work from that as a starting point so we don't have to keep talking about that? Because some people will only focus on the snow. You could tell them they're going to get ice, they're going to get locusts, they're going to get this, that, and the other. Say, yeah, but how much snow am I going to get? You know what I'm saying? You got to get off that train. This is a cold story. For snow, it's not. But for the the icy cold weather, some people will be amazed how cold it gets on Saturday. But I still want to show you some of the other models. And then at 3 minutes away from 8, I'll get to the pizzas here in a second. And your new comments as well. 11 o'clock Friday night, looks like all that nonsense is gone, right? We've cleared out in the Husky. What we haven't seen yet, and I'm going to advance it, is the front that's in Canada. It's going to bring its own little snow shower. Oh, yeah, there it is, 4 in the morning. 4 in the morning. You mean that could be like another snow shower? We get it while people are sleeping? Yes. That's only going to reinforce the cold, because you'll notice the winds here are still at 11. But once this little batch of flakes move away, and it won't amount to a hill of beans, once it's gone, watch the winds. Picks up. Picks up. I think the winds are really picking up now. 8 o'clock. What are they now? 25. 25. And it's so cold. And how about later? 26, 25. It's really cold. So that's why I said 1 o'clock is when the polar plunge is expected to take place. It's now 7:58. I'm so grateful that you're here. If you have some questions, concerns, or comments, I'm going to get to that here. In fact, let me go ahead and do that now so that you will have, and then we'll save the other models here when I come back in just a moment. But I did get a nice little good evening from Lynn Old, and also very thankful for Rodney Johnson. He says he was thanking me for keeping it real. I'm trying to do that each and every day. We do this live stream because it gives us an opportunity to interact with you more in a way that I could necessarily on a typical television platform. But I'm very grateful that you're here. Got a couple of notes. Let's see, Taj Brown. I don't know if he's excited. Let me put Taj on the screen here. He's here. He says, yes, they are great, 100%. I don't know what great. Maybe he's talking about Marcos. I don't know. Yeah, Lynn Old. He's got all the pizza. He's the guy you want to know in your neighborhood. If Lynn Old's neighborhood is anywhere near your voice or my voice, you need to check him out. He's the kind of guy, he would share a slice, right? He's getting a free pizza every month for free. I know I would say, hey, Lynn, when are you going to order your Marcos this month? That's what I'd ask. That's what I'd ask Taj. But I'm so glad he's here. Taj is also following up. Maybe that's what I get. I want a single topping large, still waiting to be used, though. So it's real, folks. Still waiting to be used. Did you not receive it, or did you get the certificate and you haven't used it? I'm not quite sure I follow there, but I will do my best to bring it on. I got Linda East excited about Marcos. And now that it's 8 o'clock, now I'm getting hungry just thinking about it. So let's get to that and we'll get back to the weather. Let me bring in the first winners. We've got 10 individual pizzas we're giving away. So I like to give them out like this, but we can show you number 1. This is the free 1-topping pizza that I do know Taj has won. I don't know if he's received the certificate. That is in our sales department's department. But let's bring in the first two in no particular order. C. Collins in Hampton is our first winner tonight. C. Collins, congratulations to you. You just won a free pizza from Marco's with one topping, as has David Marshall. Now, I know David Marshall has left comments on this stream before. So, David Marshall, if you're watching, you earned it, my friend. Virginia Beach, thank you so much. That's where he is from, and he's getting a free Marco's pizza as well. Let's go on to who do we have? Number 3 and number 4 on the screen. Doris Williams of Hampton. Got another Hampton winner tonight. Hampton's representing, and Doris Williams, followed by Erica Johnson, Virginia Beach. 2 Virginia Beach, 2 Hampton. We're on a roll here. Number 3 and 4 on the screen. Number 5 is James Crouch. Congratulations, James. You've just won a free pizza from Marco's. This certificate will be mailed. I want to be very clear. It goes by U.S. Post Office. The names were randomly selected, and they are given to me from our sales team to announce on the air on Thursday. So James Crouch, Virginia Beach, and we have a Portsmouth winner. First Portsmouth winner of the night. It goes to Joseph Bryant Lee Jr. Congratulations, Joseph. And if you know Joseph or James or Erica or Doris, David or C. Collins, say, hey, are you going to share your pizza with me? Maybe a spouse, friend, boyfriend, girlfriend. I don't know. Who are you going to share with? Maybe a neighbor. I'm sure they'd be loving it. If they haven't tried it, maybe they want you to share. By the way, you got a couple more here. Number 7 is Lucia Wilson from Hampton. Boy, we got 3 Hamptons tonight. And Sandra Shuford of Newport News. Now, if you know Sandra, if you know Miss Wilson, just say, hey, are you going to share some of your pizza when it comes? Now, some of you will get a letter in the mail and you'll think it's an advertisement or worse yet, junk mail, and you discard it. You're throwing away good pizza, my friend. Don't do that. Save it. Don't throw it away. Now that you know you're winning, a certificate will be mailed to you in short order. So be patient. And I'm going to take one more here. It goes to Teresa Calabrese, if I said that right, of Norfolk, and Tiffany Smith of Hampton. Boy, we've got a couple of Hamptons there. 4 people from Hampton tonight. Hampton seems to be the winner on this very evening. Now, I've got to go one more with the big winner. The grand prize winner of the week is going to be going out to, if I put this on the screen here, a free Marco's pizza for a year. I'd like to distinguish that. And I couldn't do it, wouldn't want to do it without putting out the, the winner with a little bit of confetti. Okay, the big winner of the week goes to Wesley Bailey of Virginia Beach. Wesley, calling Wesley Bailey. If you're out there in internet land, hello to you. Congratulations. I don't know if you were expecting to win tonight, but I got news for you. Your family's going to be thrilled that you're going to be bringing home 12 one-topping pizzas every month for the next year. That's a pretty sweet deal. Congratulations, Wesley. You're in the same company as Lynn Old. He won this thing a couple of weeks back. And so it's nice to be able to have pizza for a year, and that's going to be coming to you in the mail. So you don't have to do anything. You've already signed up. That's how your name was given to us. There are 6 locations that you can redeem your pizza, 3 in Virginia Beach, 2 in Chesapeake, and 1 in Norfolk. Be sure to check out the phone numbers there, WTKR.com, Marcos. If you'd like to be entered into the drawing for next week, next Thursday, we'll play along as well. But I just want to thank you for your time on that. I'm going to get back to the weather. Do we have any comments that might be congratulations? Oh, see, Taj always says, I love this. Thank you, Taj. He read my mind. He's all excited. I'm excited about pizza. I mean, I get hungry. I confess, I have a weakness. My mom might have said it when I was a kid, but my wife definitely says I could eat pizza almost every other day of the week, maybe every day. Maybe that's a bit of an exaggeration, but I do like it. I got a note from Amy Thompson. She's also in a congratulations, y'all. She's thrilled about everybody winning. And she's also figured out she's got a cool, ooh, it's a powerful. I love that. Love that, Amy. You're very sweet to join us live during these sessions. All right, so let's go back to the Futurecast. If you missed any of this stuff, I'm going to revisit some of this in a different way at the end. But here are the models, right? I showed you the graph model. It's a nothing burger, really. Nothing going on except maybe some flurries. So if you want to know how how do you translate point 1? I always tell people you cannot measure point 1 with a ruler. When snow falls, this is the model saying we're going to get some frozen precipitation, probably a few flakes, and maybe a quick moving snow shower that might last 30 minutes to an hour. And it's done, and there's nothing left. So if that alarms you, then so be it. Just know it's going to probably happen at 4 in the morning with that secondary front in Canada. Snowfall forecast from the GFS model. puts a little bit more potentially falling from the sky in the eastern shore and peninsula. Not buying it. You saw that little poof? Yeah, the little poof. Amy's pushing it. She's punching it out. This poof that we saw in the graph model, I think will come to pass. This is the GFS model. The European model, flurries, flurries, flurries. That's all that is. And even the NAM model also tends to be swinging for the fences, is a nothing burger in my view. So now that we've covered that, and now that we've exhausted that, I didn't want to ignore the pink elephant in the room because, like I said, you could have all sorts of things on the menu. All people want to know is, yeah, but how much snow am I getting? Nothing as far as what you can take home. You might see it, but you're not getting it. Let's talk about the headlines. Clouds, scattered clouds tonight. It's cold. Lows in the 20s. Wet snow and rain showers on Friday evening. No big deal. But the big story and the takeaway is the single-digit wind chill weekend. I'll call it because it's Super Bowl Sunday. It's a super single-digit wind chill weekend. And I don't know who you're rooting for. I have no skin in the game because my Eagles are not playing. But I'll watch a funny commercial here now and again. Temperatures tomorrow will be in the 20s in the morning. I told you we'd see some sunshine. Love that. Sun's up at 7:03. Winds are light. You could call this the calm before the Arctic blast. The calm before the Arctic blast. I like that, Aldrich. That's catchy. Maybe I'll use that. I guess I just did. 36 to 39. I expected 35 today. That's where we landed in Norfolk. I think we'll be cloudy to finish, and sometime between 5 and maybe 8 or 9, we'll get that first impulse of some snow and rain, maybe another round around 4 a.m. on Saturday. I left it 10%. I just think even that's suspect. Because just because it's in Canada doesn't mean it's going to stick together, hold together. It's going to have some downsloping. There'll be a lot of pressure for it to fall apart. That's all I'm going to say on that. Morning lows. That's a big story too. Normal low is 34 this time of year, and we're going to be down about 14. Now, I'm not a mathematic wizard, but I can tell you that's 20 degrees below normal. That's cold, and I'm seeing pressure to even drop it even further. As I said, 14 to me is where I was yesterday. But if you put 10 meteorologists in the same room, they might think it's 60, or might think it's 50. There's evidence. I could have given strong evidence for a 13 or a 12. But you have wind chills in the sub-zero category. Some of us are going to be like, that's the time I want to, maybe I want to drip the faucets. Maybe open up the cabinetry under the kitchen sink just to let the air circulate. You know what I'm thinking? That's what I'm thinking. When you're in the teens, that's even a better time to do it. But then it's a little bit milder as we head toward Tuesday. Speaking of Tuesday, I got us at 44. There is a silver lining at the end of this, the rainbow is that we're going to be in the 50s on Wednesday. Wait a minute. Aldrich, you said we would be in the 50s on Wednesday yesterday. I did. I didn't change. No, I moved it up. I had 54. I'm now at 56. Is that good? Some people are like, yeah, that's good. All right. 33 is tumbling. I mean, arguably you could still be at 35 at midnight. You could be at 33 at 5 in the morning, but you're just going to spend the day in the 20s. And when the things matter for the polar plunge, I'm thinking about them specifically, when it matters at 1 o'clock, they're going to be somewhere between 23 and 26. And I think Sunday has a lot of sunshine too, but you're not going to crack 30 in my opinion. Barely 30 at best in most neighborhoods. Now the precipitation comes in late tomorrow. That's the 40% there and a 10% early Saturday morning in most cases before the sun comes up. If you need evidence of how cold it's going to get, look at Friday on the maps. You don't have to be a weather wizard here to see that blue is pretty cold and this purple stuff you got up here is even colder. What happens on Friday? It's cold. That's tomorrow. But once you go into Saturday, shazam, that's really cold in Delaware, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. Yeah, that's right. So there's some evidence that while it is a cold shot, and there's definitely a connection, it would appear from James Bay, not James River, James Bay. This is just like an Arctic blast upper air pattern that will be short-lived. It'll last the weekend, and then it's going to retreat, like so. And notice how it kind of went down here. So this cold air is going to linger, and we're not going to really see anything warm up until we get to Tuesday and Wednesday. You need more evidence for that? Watch the upper air pattern on Tuesday. Well, that's Monday. It's moderating. It's trying to get back to near normal. But it really gets warm into the 50s on Wednesday. So my expectation for something that's still, because today is Thursday, it's almost a week away. You got a lot of confidence for Wednesday. I sure do. And I think they'll probably easily be in the 70s down here in New Orleans, maybe upper 60s now for Tallahassee. They're going to have some warmth in Atlanta that we'll be jealous of, right? There's going to be a lot of warmth in parts of the country that hasn't been that warm. as of late. And then we get, as I said, on Valentine's Day. How many of you watched me back, I don't know, weeks ago? I said, hug your honey, cuddle your cutie, snuggle your sweetie. It's going to get cold for Valentine's Day. Guess what? How did I know that? Ooh, you going to share some of your cool secrets? I can. I show this to you all the time. I said 13th? Yeah, look so. I said 30 days from the 13th would be a cold spell. That puts you around Valentine's Day. Remember, this is a 30-day time relapse, like a time release vitamin C capsule, right? We got warm air rises, cold air sinks. And I said, by the time we get to Valentine's Day, we're going to get really cold, right? Let me see if I have the 14th. Do I have the 14th? Let me see if I have that. Yeah, I do. Here's the 14th. There's even more evidence for that. So if I were to take and extrapolate in reverse, Ciao now, y'all. There's the super warm air aloft at 11 miles up in the sky. Warm air rises, cold air sinks. I said by the time we get to Valentine's Day, it's going to get cold. The models can't see 11 miles up in the sky. They just can't. They're not designed to do that. But when they finally get their act together, they start buffering and recalibrating. Now guess what? Now now everybody's going to say what Aldrich said weeks ago. 30 days ago, I said it was on the 14th of January. I said we're going to be probably pretty cold on Valentine's Day. And there it is. There it is, 14th. Now, it's not as cold as this weekend, but, to the level of degree that it is, it's going to be another cold shot for the next weekend. I know it's not a popular message, but I'm just throwing it out there. It's probably another reason why you want to cuddle, and also you want to make sure you get a good dinner reservation before they all go away, right? So that's my public service announcement for all guys who are procrastinating. Don't procrastinate. You're almost to the Valentine's Day. What we got? 10 days? Not even. Was it the 15th? Yeah, we got maybe 9 days left, something like that. 10 days or 9. But anyway, here's the big connection from the James Bay area, right? I drew this yesterday. You got this surge of cold air, and it's moving in the direction of all the way down. It's like a trough. It's just moved across New York State, Pennsylvania, and in some cases right here in Hampton Roads. Let's see here. Taj says you have to have, let's see here. You too, hope you have a great day on purpose. Thank you, Taj, for your comment. Got Tim Thompson-Jones. She's on here. I want to say hi to her. Patrick Kelly, I think I've answered your question. Your warmest day, my friend, is going to be on Wednesday. So let me get Patrick on here. Did I get him in there? Is spring, he wants to know, anytime soon. The warmest day we've got is going to be coming Wednesday the 11th. So I got us into the mid-50s. Hey, look, I'll take 50s, right? I'll take 56 degrees on a Wednesday of next week. It's not the weekend, but this is the cold air that's coming in this weekend. This is February 7th, which is Saturday, and it's pretty rare. But when you get this little surge, you have to be able to adapt. And that's really going to what's be happening. I mean, you can see it spinning around like a top here. I think, as I mentioned to you maybe 10 minutes ago, that there would be, as today's model would suggest, this is the 5th of February. And if I zoom in a little bit tighter here, you can see this is going to be like a ring around the rosy. You're going to get, let's see if I can draw this real quickly. You're going to get this cold spell right in here, and it's going to continue to do laps. Very, very cold air is going to surge into here, into New England. And then you're going to get warm air coming in from the Gulf, humid air, and I think severe weather season breaks out early. Maybe not in Hampton Roads, but certainly the South, from Texas to the Midwest to maybe the Ohio or Tennessee Valley. We'll have to wait and see. You get some warm, humid air clashing with some really cold air. Severe weather season might start a little early. That was my thesis last night, and I'm sticking to it. That would be around March the 5th, right? Because 30 days from now would be March the 5th. So you got real-life examples of now why Valentine's Day is probably going to be colder. I showed you that little surge, and all of a sudden it's now being detected by the modeling because this stuff just continues to rotate around and around. Our high was 35. That was what I expected today. 77 happened 136 years ago. That's comforting. But I did leave this little red area here because that's Wednesday. That's how confident I am we're going to be in the 50s. 52 is the normal. So I think we're going to be about 4 degrees above that. Maybe I might move it up or down, but we'll see how that goes. But the next 4 days are going to have, the last 5 days have been colder than average. This is going to be colder. This is going to be cold. All these blues until we finally get to Wednesday. Because even 44 on Tuesday is below average. The normal high is 52. So just to break the news to Patrick, I don't see spring happening at least in the next couple of days. Best chance will be 50s on Wednesday. Now, I did mention last night that February is the driest month of the year. If you're a gardener, you're a landscaper, you're a farmer, you're someone who has a green thumb, that might be of interest to you. This is typically a dry month. Now, tell that to February of 2025, and you say that was a bunch of hooey, because we were above normal and we had a 10.2 inch snowstorm, February 19th here on the 2025, February 19th. That's almost a year ago. So this was not always, this is again a 30-year average, but when the fact that we are 6.5 inches below normal for 2025, over 2 inches below normal for 2026, we're about 8.5, almost 9 inches below normal. So what happened today? The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration issued their weekly drought monitor. And you want to know where we stand? We're under a level 2. We are a level 2 drought. That's moderate drought in brown. The legend's at the top here. So this is level 1, moderate's 2, severe is a level 3, extreme is 4, put my little 4 there, and exceptional drought is 5. It's a little harder to get to level 5. But if you zoom in a little bit tighter, it looks like Norfolk, Ocean Lakes, Hickory, all under a moderate drought. And we're going to be going into a dry period, I think, after we get through this Friday night's event with some rain and some wet snow showers. As far as the drought monitor, we got Chincoteague, Exmoor, Christchurch, Gloucester, and Seaford, all under a moderate drought. Hosky is even worse. Western Bertie County under level 3. That's a severe drought. Looking at Hatteras, looks like abnormally dry, a little bit of yellow there, and areas around Roanoke Island would suggest a moderate drought there in light brown. You really have to squint to see some of the red. Sometimes there's Portland, Maine. I guess they're on level 4. But if you come back to Virginia and D.C., they're under a severe drought. Level 3 in Hagerstown, D.C., all the way toward Roanoke and Martinsville. And if we go into the Tar Heel State, Raleigh-Durham, Chapel Hill, Fayetteville, Charlotte, Greensboro, all under a severe drought. These are places that really could use some rain. Now, if they had a lingering snowpack, which a lot of it has melted away, but it's not going to make up for lost time. Our friends in Knoxville are abnormally dry. Looks like Athens, you're under a severe drought in McMinn County there. And many areas around Knox County are under a moderate drought, which probably include much of the Smoky Mountains are also severe drought. They're in orange, but places like White Pine or Sneedville look like they're under a moderate drought. Lenoir City would be moderate, number 2, Sevierville, Maryville, and Morristown for sure in Maynardville. Look at Houston, look at areas in Texas. Florida is extremely dry. They're on their level 4. I like to show this to you. Again, if you have interest in water tables, the water cycle, this is something we'll keep an eye on, but I know that there are going to be opinions about when does somebody declare a drought a problem, right? If it doesn't rain for, let me turn this off here. If it doesn't rain, 5 days? Is that when you sound the alarm? Is it 10 days? Is it 30 days? Is it 90 days with no rain? Boy, we need the rain. At what point, right? Does it really catch somebody's attention? You don't get here overnight, right? This is a prolonged period of time where water just hasn't been in supply, and so it might have some implications with the start of the growing season in just a matter of a few weeks or months, depending on when people start. Temperature forecast. I mentioned this before, but by the time we hit midday tomorrow, we'll be closing in on 37. I think we're aiming for a high about 39. There could be some closer to 40, but every model is going to have a little bit of a variance there. I think by 9 o'clock, this is key. Notice how we're above freezing, right? And barely freezing here. So I'm going to go back to my initial question. If it is snowing, it's snowing, and it's 35, what's your chance of it sticking? Not going to stick. Might fall in some areas to the north, but that's nuisance flakes. I don't think that's an issue. So having said that, we're going to move on. Multiple sources. If you need more information, News 3's First Warning Weather app, plus the NOAA Weather Radio is a great way to get notifications, even when your phone happens to lose charge, because the NOAA Weather Radio is battery operated too, so it has multiple ways of getting you the information. I'm looking at the country as a whole. If you're in the military and you have family all over the place, I thought I'd zoom in just as a courtesy to show you they've got some rain tonight, parts of Southern California and also Arizona. Some showers northwest of Tucson, working its way in the direction of Los Angeles. Looks pretty dry in Dallas and Houston at this hour. See some snow. Looks like down toward, is it down into, Detroit area. They've got some rain, snow in Detroit, northern Michigan, and up into northern parts of Minnesota. So again, this is the snow here This is the actual snow here that's going to have its probably implications for us by the time it comes in at 4 a.m. on Saturday. That's how fast this is moving. And it will move pretty fast, no doubt. But here's the map. This is the European model. It'll take you through the 15th of February. And this is the downsloping winds. You'll see some snow in West Virginia, Pennsylvania, and then it comes into town with a whimper because the moisture gets all dried up as it downslopes from the Appalachians. And you can see as we head into our day on Sunday, there's still some snow off the coast. It's super cold. And then we have another round of a couple of maybe showers coming in, I think, on Tuesday to Knoxville there. And then probably some rain here, some spotty rain on Wednesday before it warms up at least in the 50s for a day. And maybe some snow. Looks like on the last day here, this is the 15th. I told you to get cold around Valentine's Day. North Carolina, this European model would suggest there's possible snow and rain there as well. So probably not what you want to hear, but it's just another reason to cuddle your cutie, snuggle your sweetie, and move on from there. All right, so that's where we're going. Then we got some rain coming to Texas, I think, by the 15th. I mentioned the temperatures, 8 o'clock, 32 right now in Norfolk, Hampton, Chesapeake. We've got 31 in Ahoskie, 35 in Nags Head, 31 in Yorktown. I'm looking at the temperatures around the region. It's 20 in Pittsburgh, 32 right now in Columbia, 28 in Knoxville. And the cold air you can see surging in purple, really, it's just really taking hold into Bangor, Maine. I imagine it's pretty mild in Canada. Can we look at Canada? Oh yeah, it's -8. That's not too bad. 5, +5, we'll take +5 in Island Lake, but it's 18 in Pickle Lake Airport. So there's some variability up there as well. While it might be 65 in Dallas, it's currently 76 in Phoenix. Our dew points are in the teens, if not near 10. And we've got this Polar Express coming down in white, comes down on the 7th, and then we'll see maybe another resurgence of that going into the day of Valentine's Day, the 14th. But there will be a warm day on Wednesday. It's a one-day special. And then I think we've got maybe the makings of the really cold air getting bottled up a little bit up here. Everything in white would be the indication of the really cold air. I think we'll moderate a bit after the 15th. In fact, the Climate Prediction Center is showing that very outlook. They're suggesting that we are going to be slightly above normal here. Areas in New Jersey and, say, Connecticut and Massachusetts might be near normal, but we're flipping the tables, right? It's below normal heading into the 15th and really toasty relative to the normal across the heartland. So there's some hope there for those of you who are just hoping for warmer weather. Eastern Shore looks like this, 35 Onancock, 36 for Saxis. It's now 8:22. I'll be wrapping things up here. Cape Charles, Exmoor, both 36 tomorrow. Sun to clouds, about 39 for Duck, for Manio, Nags Head, Wanchese, or Danthe 40, about 41 for Ocracoke tomorrow, and Hatteras around 40. I mentioned to you, if you're just joining us, the big story to me for all the people who are going to be out in the elements, I'll be in a heated tent. Combined say hi, we'll be in the 20s, about 23 to 26. Winds will be howling, sustained 20 to 35. I think we could have wind gusts that are approaching 40, 45, 50, 55, some isolated 60s, maybe along the eastern shore or even the Outer Banks, and the expected wind chill is about 5 to 10. So we've already covered this, but again, if you just need more evidence about the poof of the snow, you'll get some snow like this, and then it'll just go, bye-bye, I'm done. There's nothing left to see. And if you're really hopeful and you want to stay up late on Saturday morning, stay up on Friday night, Saturday morning, maybe, just maybe, there's another quick little squall. But that squall of snow will be short-lived. The flakes will be flying, and I do suspect that'll only usher in or reinforce the cold, because it certainly reinforces the wind, as you can see illustrated here. It's a story about the wind, the wind, the wind. I can't emphasize that enough. The sun's going to be shining the whole time, but the wind will steal the show. All right, having said that, here's your forecast. South side, 23. Peninsula's 23. North Carolina, about 21. About 17 for Franklin. 26 for Cape Charles. Low temperatures in the morning for Elizabeth City, about 22, as well as for Hertford, 28 for Nags Head, 21 for Melfa, and about 23 for Newport News and Norfolk. But highs will be tickling 40. I think we'll be coming close. South side, 39, 41, North Carolina, 35 Peninsulas. I've got 40 now for Virginia Beach, 43 for Portsmouth, but 39 Norfolk, then 39 for Matthews, as well as Corolla, 39, and Nags Head at 39. Mid-40s, though, for Gatesville and Murfreesboro, Cortland tomorrow. Here's your first warning, WTKR, News 3 7-day forecast. So snow and rain late, sun to clouds, cold and windy. This is an academic high because the almanac will probably read 33 to 38. I think we still could be somewhere between 33 and 38 around midnight, and that's why any snow will have a hard time forming. But that temperature will fall in a hurry once the sun is up, heading down to the basement of 14, but there is some silver linings in the clouds here at 56. It'll come with a few showers, probably a better chance for some scattered rain on Thursday of next week. We're back to 46 degrees. Got a couple of happy shots for you from you, our WTKR photographers, from Charles Terrell. He captured this sunrise of Newport News this morning. Love it. Very artistic. Little crepuscular rays you got going on there, Charles. Some people call them God's rays, but they're shining through the clouds. Love it. Bradley Fullwood, Fort Monroe sunrise today, looking beautiful. Same thing. I love the artistic nature of our photographers, and the sunrise from Matthews. I think it was taken back on maybe February 2nd, but a beautiful picture from Charles Powers sharing that with us today. I mentioned the fact that these clouds are trying to get out of here, but it definitely looks like a few flakes all the way down here. I'm looking at back down towards southern sections of interior or mainland Dare County. Maybe a little bit of a mix that might be forming. Don't be alarmed, it's going to pass, and it won't necessarily require a shovel, but it might catch you off guard if you're not paying attention. But these clouds are basically, there's a sharp cutoff here as these clouds are beginning to retreat and they're headed in this direction, and then that'll open up the door for some sunshine tomorrow. That's good news there. Just a reminder as we look at the forecast, 39 tomorrow, 33 on Saturday. Again, if you haven't jotted down the promo code, if you're wanting a pizza either tonight, tomorrow, maybe during the Super Bowl, I know this goes through Saturday, but maybe you've got a party going on this weekend on Saturday. WTKR Sunny, you could save a lot of money. Get a medium pizza. Put as many toppings on it as you want. I'm pretty certain that promo code will work whether you use one topping or multiple toppings. But Mike's Hot Honey Magnifico is another great one to try if you've not tried it. It's very sweet to taste, but has a little jalapeno pepper taste once it goes down your throat. So it's kind of cool if you haven't tried Mike's Hot Honey. Be sure to know there are 6 locations that are participating, and we want you to sign up for next week. And the Pizza for a Year certificate goes to our friend Wesley Bailey. Congratulations to Wesley and to really all of our individual winners. We appreciate you, and I appreciate Marcos for being as generous as they are. Just a reminder, to satisfy your appetite, go to WTKR.com/Marcos. All right, just a reminder, it doesn't matter if the weather is sunny or serious. It'll be seriously cold this weekend. I can declare that. But it's still a gift, right? Every day is a gift, because you know what? You and I, we can't change yesterday. We can change tomorrow. We got an opportunity to make some really good things tomorrow happen. But just remember, every day is a gift. Help your neighbor. Make the best of it and make the most of it in your neighborhood. We'll see you here next week. Take care.